into a different lesson, but we did the whole thing. Eye open.
Well, that's good. I mean, eyes closed are always better for eggs.
Yeah, let me see if I can get rid of the feedback. How is it now? Do you hear feedback anymore?
Just better.
Much better, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I don't have to get my food because I'm eating that some for a few minutes.
And then you can take a chew.
Yeah. Just moving a little closer. Well, I followed everybody's suggestions about what to do about this shingles, and a lot of things worked really well.
Have you ever had herpes, Fran?
Yeah, a long time ago. But this is from chicken pox, which I had when I was a kid.
I had kitty pox.
It kind of acts, the reason I think they call it herpes zoster is it kind of looks like blisters, but it's
Yeah.
different.
It's the pustules that you call it that way.
Yeah, but
Probably, yes.
they're more like chicken pox pustules. Because mine don't itch, thank God. If they'd itched, that would have been murder.
Yes, I remember when I was a child and I had the chicken pox. It was itching like crazy.
Yeah, well, I still have a scar here from one of them.
Yeah, because if you scratch it, you get a scar and it stays there.
Yeah. But I've been taking vitamin C, and I took magnesium, which helps a lot with the nerves and the muscles. And then I've been waving it with witch hazel and putting silver antibiotic gel on it. And then Greg had these silver pads, which we also put on the worst part.
You want it?
Tape it on. And that really helps. And I was looking up online, there's a product that it has emu oil and all this other stuff in it. One of the ingredients is the silver, the same silver that I have in the other thing. And so,
Oil.
what?
Oil silver?
No.
Colloidal silver, yeah.
And colloidal is a suspension, a type of suspension.
Yeah.
And usually you drink colloidal silver, but colloidal silver is just how it's the form that it's in. So this
Well, this is gel.
the gel is
I use it
a colloid. It's
I've used it for other things instead of antibiotic cream, which I found was, after a while, was completely useless. I've been using the silver stuff, and it works so much better. You know what I mean?
Franny,
Yeah.
tasted aloe would be good for it.
Yeah, well, now that it's healing, I was thinking I should probably moisturize it with some kind of aloe, like a vino.
I don't know if you can find the plant in the States,
Well,
but if you can, if you break the leaf of the plant, a gel comes out. Don't ingest it because it's poisonous, but you can use it on your body, and it's very good.
yeah, we have those in Florida growing in our yard. We brought them, but here I don't think I do. But there are lots of moisturizers that have aloe,
Yeah.
aloe in them, and I need to. The scabs are kind of coming. The skin was pulling a bit because it was all drying up. Oh, Greg Scott aloe.
I have aloe vera juice, which is better than
Yeah, but if you get the plant, it's even better.
I know.
Well, we don't have the plant here, but I have been in Florida. And that's calcium. That may not be so good.
Calcium citrate.
And pay attention mention because it's poisonous for the cat,
Oh, yeah, well,
the
they never,
brand.
yeah, they never ate it, but.
I'm gonna get that too.
I thought you had a cat.
Not anymore.
Oh. Well, this one, someone adopted it, and then I guess her boyfriend didn't like it, so it was back to the library again. And
That happens.
yeah, the boyfriend didn't want it. He didn't want to have a cat, I guess. So
Maybe the cat didn't want the girlfriend either.
maybe not, but the buyer saw the cat there, and so he brought her home.
Well, the proof of the pudding is if the cat sticks, then she wants you.
The thing is, it's
The match.
the just like the vet bills are unbelievable for. So we're gonna have to get our low-income alternatives out for staying.
No, that was one reason I did not want another animal, because it costs lots every year.
What's that?
Aliens. They want to get in the call.
I see.
They must be pretty stupid if they can't monitor this call.
Yes. Maybe they are.
Anyway, so we're gonna have to do the same thing we did in Philly, is get low-cost neutering, which they have around and somewhere there.
Is it a baby cat or a grown cat?
Well, it's a grown, she's young, but she's a grown cat, so.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they gave him the name of once they planned it.
Okay,
And
good.
then also some other information.
Good.
Even I think the one on Bill's, Boyette has a little cost stay time, I don't know.
Mhm.
At the, why don't you go to,
His statewide low-cost stay neuter, Florida, low-cost stay neuter. All right.
but
There's Riverview, Valrico.
they have one,
Absolute
I
pet
think the
care.
Boyette has one, the Boyette clinic, so you could try the Boyette.
I will.
See if you have it.
I'll start with where I am now.
I guess Mr. Fishbach doesn't,
Animal Coalition of Tampa, stay neuter.
that's the one that they gave it.
Boyfriend didn't like it.
What?
Boyfriend didn't like it. I'm not surprised.
Yeah, well, she probably didn't ask her, she probably just took the cat home.
Maybe the cat didn't even like the boyfriend.
Well, it's always possible.
One can always change the boyfriend. That's a good idea.
So,
What the hell happened there? I don't have that.
so what are our burning issues today? Besides cat neutering. What are you doing, Greg?
I'm trying to get my navigation bars back.
Oh, cool.
I just full screen is what it was. Thank you.
Thank you for asking about what the burning issues are. I will now go into them. You know, in every meeting I bring in a series of things that I've been working on all week and looking at. And, you know, I write them down in note form, and then I bring them in to work on them.
Uh-huh.
So that's what we do in these meetings. you know, sort of
Summary.
summary of the week's, you know, things, discoveries, and so on. We've actually been working on some of them because, you know, we've been talking about where Barb lives and so on. Okay, so this next class is about life structure design. And since you, Ross and Barb, you did like that's what you did in your session. You did life structure design, correct?
Yeah. Yes.
All right. So you should then be able to tell me right now what are the main things that get in the way of desirable reality. Did you notice that life structure design has a link to desirable realities?
Yes.
Okay.
That's what
So
you
where-
meant. Bob and I should do next time.
Yeah, you should.
Okay.
So what are the main things that interfere with good life structure design?
Oh, I should get to the lesson because honestly I don't remember.
No.
Tell us,
Just that you don't
No.
life structure design.
go to the lesson.
No, I'm not doing
I'm asking
anything.
Ross, don't anybody else answer for her. You did the lesson. Barb, can you tell me what did you access was interfering with you having good life structure design?
The same thing that interferes with everything, basically. Habits, lies, you know, consumption,
I
non.
can't understand.
Oh, God, I almost knocked my head off. My trunk. The same things that, you know, get in the way of anything, basically, like, dysfunction, lies, habits, addictions, agendas, right?
Yes. That's
And it's
exactly
just a
right.
We talked to the percentage.
All right, Ross, you did a good session, I guess, because Barb knows what she's supposed to know. So if you don't remember it, maybe that's okay, you know?
Mm-hmm.
The thing that matters is you got a result with Barb. She knows what she's supposed to know.
Yeah, well, that's a very good, yeah, I do.
And also we assess which desirable realities these things were in the way too.
Well, one of the main things is holding on to negative people who drag you down, right, Barb?
Yeah.
And you do that, yeah?
I only have like one or two negative people.
Well, you seem to keep finding them, but here's something to think about. Remember last night you were telling us that if we got a house in Santa Fe, you could really make things happen there if we were there with you?
Yeah.
Well, you're probably totally right about that. Even though I don't want to come to Santa Fe, I have to say that I'm certain that Franny, Greg, and I, and you together could be successful in Santa Fe because when you're with us, we force you into a good life structure design. So even if you're holding on to negative people, indulging your addictions, or what all the things that you do to fuck yourself over, you still have a pretty good life structure design when you're with us. And so you're able to get some results, you know?
Yeah.
When you were living here with us in Timberlake, for one thing, you cured Celeste's lupus, which was a big result, right?
Yep.
I mean, she had lethal lupus and you cured it, and then she went and got it back when you moved in with her. But she was not capable of creating a good life structure design for you the way we are.
Right. You know, she just figured out that she made the most money of any year of her life when she was with me.
That's right. And you know, I want to praise Greg. Greg, I want to say that sometimes I can be very, like all over your case sometimes, but the fact is, you always create a good life structure design for yourself. And like what you've got in Chicago, you really set yourself up there, and you're always continuing to set yourself up in the face of odds, huge odds, in interfering. I mean, you're in this tiny little room, but you will figure out how to make it work for you so that you have what you need to eat and rest and all the stuff that you need to do.
We created a little kitchen over on the other side. Looks really nice. We consolidated his toilets.
Great.
And we bought a new pot.
There's my kitchen over there.
I don't know if you can see it, but anyway, we bought a new pot so we can cook more things here.
Like $35 at Walmart. We got 5 pots and lids and
Really nice.
3 utensils. It's made in India. Anyway, thank you.
Anyway, he does try and make it really nice for himself. I mean, he can't spend much money, but
Yes.
Most, a lot of stuff I think is free or very cheap.
he goes to the free recycle. He goes to this website that has recycled things. We went and looked at a cabinet. People don't know what to do with this stuff, so they give it away and they advertise on this site. You just go and pick it up.
Barb, you should look, you don't have a place, it's different, but you never know what you can find there. Freecycle.org.
And how to fix those?
Well, this is why Greg can make a good life structure for Barb when Barb is living with Greg, because he doesn't compromise. Like, he can be alone and have huge odds against him, but he'll just go for it. Hello? You guys there?
Yeah.
We are here.
Yeah.
Oh, I heard this thing like something hung up. Barb, are you still there?
The aliens hung up, we're alone now.
Yes.
Barb?
Barb?
Yeah,
Did we lose Barb?
she's still on, picture's still there, but she may have.
Barb, are you there? Hello, Barb.
Either attacked by aliens, or she went off somewhere, or if it hangs her up, I'll call her right back, but I can't even call her back.
Maybe it was just too much.
No, I'm here, I just went on mute, but not,
Yeah.
I couldn't.
Oh, okay.
Oh, good. Well, I don't know what that noise was there, but it sounded like somebody saying, anyway, okay. So that was one thing I wanted to talk about, and I have, so enough on that. We got perspective. Now, Barb and I, and Greg last night, were talking about, people who call us for help. Okay? They want help curing their herpes. And I realized when I called the vet this morning to ask about having the cat, a new cat I just adopted, and I want the things you have to do, the shots and the neutering and everything. $550.
What?
Yep, that's what they want to do it. And the woman who at the vet, who was telling me all about it, she gave me the name of another place where they do it cheaper.
That's crazy.
Yeah, the vets are, the vets are very expensive.
They are, and I agree, but in Italy it's not like that. They're still expensive, but it's less than that.
Well, she was very sweet. She said to go to the Animal Coalition and get the cat worked on there. They do everything. It's a lot cheaper. It's a non-profit. They're trying to rescue animals, so they do this service because people won't adopt animals if they have to pay $550.
Of course.
but if they can, pay a lot less, then they will. So that's what I'm going to do. But anyway, what I realized was now I still have to drive the cat over there, drop her off, go back for her, pick her up, and I realized that these people who call us and want help are exactly the same amount of work. Some of them are somewhat self-starting, but a lot of them are they're just like that. Like Barbara's Barb, have you talked to, have you had people, do you see what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I'm frightened. I was just thinking, like, if we were finding, like, the cool thing on the site would be that there was somebody there all the time, like, in person to call on Skype, and, there would be a real person. I call that guy Scott. I call people sometimes. The last person I called was that guy Scott. It takes time.
And tell me about talking to, was that you called him after we had him on the Monday night?
Yeah, but I realized, like, when I was living at your house, for example, like when I was working with Celeste from Florida.
Tell me about the conversation with Scott first.
It was just short. I mean, he was just, he was talking really fast. He was in his symptoms, and I just gave him a few things and mentioned that was one of his symptoms, and that, this was different than, the germ theory, and, he gave me an idea of what he would have to do. I don't think that's to do it, probably. It was a lot of work, but I gave him a few things that I thought were pretty good. Like about how he had to, like, I had some, like the relationship that he had with the woman when he caught it, when he manifested it. He was blaming the girlfriend who didn't like it all anyway. And I was like, well, that's what I mean. I told him that my thing was basically traced back to shame. It wasn't necessary. I probably had it, my whole life. It didn't come out till I was shamed. And then told him about how I got it back and stuff. And why? I thought that
He still hasn't signed up, right?
No, not that I know of.
And, you could talk to him 5 or 6 more times, and he still wouldn't sign up.
Yeah. I mean, one other thing, if I was like in a relaxed environment like I was with Celeste, and if you talk to him and then you walk him through tying up, he probably could do it. But there have been people like that woman that Sheila gave me, that she just didn't handle it very well. You have to be really focused and calm, and it's like registering them for the course. I think, enroll them. I didn't do that with him.
Well, see, that's what a cafe is. It's a relaxed environment.
That's true.
Where the person comes in, and the first thing they do when they come in, number one, is they spend money.
Right. Yeah.
They walk in, and they order something, and by the time they finish, you have a few dollars.
Right.
You've made a few dollars in your hand, and then the person is hanging out in this relaxed environment, and there's somebody else there hanging out, and you can have them talk to each other.
Right.
And guide them, and then another person comes in and spends some money and listens to them, and so on.
And they come back a couple more days. Yeah.
Because, see, what I was realizing is that this house, what I have here, home. And I decided not to keep it in the house for a while. So I put it out here in the back, and there's a couch for it to lie on, and there's a, right now the kitty actually likes laying under this tree, so that's where she is. She's fast asleep under the tree, a few feet away from me. I have a walled-in yard, I have space, you know? If I had an apartment, it would be a lot more work. It's like what you're saying, you know? Like, you don't have time to talk to Scott 5 more times, and at the end of it, maybe he'll sign up. And you'll get like, you know, $80. All you're going to get is pin money from it. And you know what you were talking about going and hanging out in a cafe? Like your friend's cafe? You can do that. And you still probably only get pin money. But remember the Nate story? At the end of the story, he's in the lobby of a resort. Remember this?
I didn't remember, yeah, no.
What?
No, I remember the resort part, sounds good.
Well, I just got, you know, Franny subscribes to Town and Country magazine, maybe because they had an article about her sister in it one time. So her sister made the cover of Town and Country. So, but anyway, I was looking at, you know, this thing, and one of the magazine articles is the 15 best spas in the United States. And, you know, you could just call and talk to the manager of each one of those spas and do the outline with the guy or the woman and say, I will come there. You give me room and lodging, give me lodging and food, and I will, hang out in the lobby for 4 hours a day and show people how to cure cancer. And if the person feels good when they do the outline, then they will understand. If you call up and ask for that without doing the outline, they'll just say no and hang up because they're not interested. They never heard of Immunix, and they don't have any. They don't want to know about it. They already know about Reiki, so they don't need another person. They don't have time. See, it's just like us with people like Scott. Like, that's the way I feel about Scott. I don't really feel like calling Scott back because I'd rather adopt a cat and do the work on that. You know, I feel like I get more out of it. I'm sorry, you know.
The thing about this new house is more convinced us to, like, I was the last, and if you're walking around outside the headset, I was doing other things or gardening or whatever. And I need more fun to call people while I'm doing other things.
It doesn't work. I've tried it. When you're gardening, all of a sudden you turn on a power tool and you can't talk to anybody. Or your Bluetooth falls in the water that you're putting in the flower pot or something. It's just very awkward. So, I mean, sometimes if I'm doing certain things, I talk on the phone when I'm gardening. Look, the fact is, all of this stuff is work. It's just exactly what you were saying before. You know?
Yeah, that'd be an alright state of mind.
No, you don't want to do it. You get into the right state of mind by not doing it. See, another thing is like, you know, there's a particle index called Lithold. It's in the collision area.
Yeah.
And it's a particle attribute, it's a good thing. And what it is, have you ever noticed, like when you meet somebody, sometimes you discharge all your energy into them.
Yes.
Like, for example, you go over to Mike's and Mike starts talking about like how he wants to do events in his house, his beautiful house, and we should invite people here and get, 50 people here and charge them $20 or something. And right? Doesn't he do that?
Yeah.
And you notice you start visiting your whole world around that.
Mm-hmm.
You said all your attention is on it, and when you walk away, you start thinking about it and designing it, and me too. And that's because you're with low. Okay? It's the same thing as saying, like as you keep saying, like if I had a quiet, life and I was well taken care of, then I could be on the phone all the time. And it's because your withhold index is low that you're saying that. Because if you were well taken care of,
Better withhold.
you would not call Scott. You would wait for him to call you. And if he called you, sure, you talk to him and be supportive of him. But there'd also be a limit, You would just, and when you hung up the phone, you wouldn't think about him anymore. Just like you wouldn't think about Michael's ideas and schemes, you just wouldn't need it.
Right.
Okay, now, I have solved a major question, one of our major questions, and I wanted to see if what I've done is really good or if it's something you guys already knew. So, let me ask you, why is it, remember when Chris Watley was, she was in the Cure meeting, and I asked her why she wasn't on camera, and she said she wanted to be a little more private. Remember that?
Yeah.
Like a few weeks later, maybe 2 weeks later, she started having herpes outbreaks again. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Now, why is it that people who are like that can't cure things?
Because go ahead, Ross.
Because they are hiding.
Okay. And why can't they hide and cure things?
Because if you cure things, you have to do it in the open to benefit other people. You can't keep it for yourself.
They stop their relationship with God. They
Yeah.
they are rejecting us, rejecting God, rejecting their own self. It's hard to do. That's why it hurts, and it comes out physically at some point. They come out on their face first or in her voice. We can tell it when you're talking to Christine. She's without.
Well, I noticed, you went around a month without a Facebook post, Greg.
Oh, Facebook.
Facebook?
Okay.
I didn't see any Facebook from you for about a whole month. I don't know if you posted anything on there recently.
I don't know. I have not been We've switched away from Facebook. You said forget about it.
Right.
I mean, I do now and then. I go on there.
I haven't posted very much on here.
If I see something come through the feed, I might say, oh yeah, I'll just pass that along. But I've not gone on your site to see what's new and put up something new. And
So you've got shadow sculptures and coffee and
Yeah, I'm looking, that's
your new favorite site, and neutral disorder in rural China. Okay. And then I noticed you got this rash on your nipple. Now, is there a connection between that and not having your,
No,
not doing anything on Facebook? Test, where you test.
no.
Well, I did say forget about Facebook. I did, but except I keep posting things on Facebook for the Cure Drive.
Yeah.
Just because I'm, interested in them. For some things, Facebook seems like a really good place to post them. Now, obviously, you haven't forgotten about Facebook. You just forgot about the Cure Drive because you're posting tons of things on Facebook.
Yeah, I've not posted things that were for us. Like, I mean, I could forward Tuesday's class, and then people would see that it's, at least get to the page, and they'd say, oh, there's a class, and let me look around this page. Or the same thing about manifesting. They're password protected, so that would be good. They would see, they would see their password protected pages. So.
I think this is interesting what you're saying about Grace, because I talked to Christine Watley after she, kind of stopped coming to meetings, and I realized that people who don't want to be public about whatever they're doing, like in Greg's case, he was trying to cure, the Cure Drive making money or something, but that's not what he posted. And I think that Christine Watley didn't really want to cure what she was, herpes. She was still getting something out of it or something. But she really wanted to keep up, and people don't talk about things like myself because they're not really ready to cure it yet. I don't think.
Well, it's sort of along the lines for me about Chris Watley is that she wanted to cure it, but she didn't really want to do the thing next that was necessary to do that, which is to be public and talk about it and get active in it and everything else like that. She wanted to stay safe, and you can't really necessarily be safe, and cure something. Especially if you want other people to help you, like us, you can't really hold things back from them.
Yeah, she didn't get mixing those two things. She thought it was embarrassing to be on camera.
Yeah, so they used to say you could die of embarrassment.
I just realized something. Barb, you really do talk about the things you want to cure.
Well, yeah, Barb exposed herself against her better judgment as she was embarrassed about how much she's let hang out.
Well, also, like a lot of the things you want to cure really are embarrassing, and you talk about them fluently all the time. Everywhere you tweet about them, and so on. And it's interesting because I think it works. I think that, like, for one thing, a lot of the things that I've done, the researches that I've done, and the ways I've seen to redesign what we're doing actually came from trying to help you cure these things that you talk about. Like, you got me on your side. Like, you got me to want to help you because you have been open about what you want. And so I see, well, if somebody wants this, I go, well, hey, I can do something that somebody wants, and I'll get something from that, because if I give you what you want, you'll give me something. You'll do, so.
Yeah. So, one thing I noticed when I was working with Ross, though, is that I, like, once you start talking about something publicly, like, especially with you, it will get cured. And even that little session I did with Ross, I touched on some things that I hadn't really talked about probably enough publicly. But, because I didn't want to cure it really. I just wanted to, figure out how to, get away with things or something. But, so I could, anything I've actually really talked about was, with these logistics and my living situation and whatever. You're right, it's being cured, but some really key issues I could probably talk about more.
Well, one thing I noticed about you, Barb, and I suppose everybody has an element of this, but you want to be with people, but then in a sense you want to be independent and separate, and there are certain times when if you're with other people like us, that's not really possible completely. Like you can't, anyway, that's my opinion. It's like, if I'm in a relationship with Greg, I can't just go and do whatever I want whenever I want it. It's like there's another person to consider and how I treat him, all that. And so that's something you can work on, is like, what does it mean to you to have, a certain kind of life structure and still, like, let go of, or whatever it is that you have to do, let go of wanting to be independent and free. Because a life structure means doing the same activities over and over again, which I think sometimes you get bored, or I don't know what it is that happens to you, but you want to change it. And in a way, you manifested Anna selling the cafe. I hate to say it, but you have something, and there's something inside of you, or in all of us, which just we weren't ready for, or something like that. So Anna goes and sells it. We manifested that result by how we were interacting with it.
Yeah, I mean, I see exactly what I do that fucks everything up.
Yeah.
Right. Answer.
Well, the trick is how to
Answer.
what to work on,
Okay.
Well, maybe it's the withhold index that Barry was talking about. I don't know.
Just on his phone.
It's coming up with a life structure and then seeing what you have to do.
Okay.
We're having trouble.
Okay,
Remember
Skype's on fire.
am I on?
Yeah.
You're
don't
on,
be afraid
Skype's
to
on.
discover that you've been wasting your time.
What?
Remember in video course, one of the cards we had said, you're not afraid to discover that you've been wasting your time?
Right.
Where I am at, I think.
Well, it depends on what's wasting time. I mean,
I
what
asked it
doesn't
all
have to
to
be
show-
a thing, it'd be how you're doing
Well,
something.
isn't it interesting that when we had Michael, and, he was doing his little shtick about, hello?
Yeah, hold on.
Here.
He was doing his whole shtick about, his problems and everything like that. And at first we bought into it, and then we stopped. And then he was gone. Well, we discovered that we were wasting our time, and he didn't our eyes anymore. And he couldn't pull the wool over your eyes, that's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, but, I wasn't really coming through for him either. And that's what happened. But, I mean,
Yeah, because he wants to, that's exactly my point, is he kind of gave up on us too, because in his mind, we didn't come through for him, but in our minds, we told him the truth, and he didn't like it.
Really?
You understand, Barb, the difference? You may not have come through, but he didn't really see you. He expected things that you were never probably going to give him.
He did
Dragging you down, in other words.
Yeah.
That's right.
He's a person who drags people down.
Right.
I thought I introduced him to, yeah, I know.
Well, it was fun, but, he just can't get out of his own way. So why should we waste our time?
But I'm sort of like him a little bit, and I think he sees that, but one thing I learned from Michael is that, I do music is for myself, like I don't need to invite him to the music, it's like going to the gym, like, he doesn't want to go to the gym and work on himself, then, I'm gonna keep going, because I get something out of it.
Right.
Okay, see, the thing about life, to go back to life structure design,
Yeah.
that if you hang on, even to the extent that you hang on to somebody who drags you down, to that extent you will have bad life structure design. And see, you've always had people like that. It was either Nikki or Jennifer or whoever. Always people like that.
Yeah.
That you,
Yeah.
like that's who you grab on. Chrissy is another one. This is who you grab onto these people, and you won't let go of them. And when you were living with us, we overrode that.
They look good, but they smell bad. Must be a pussy, right? Or no,
That's it.
feels good, looks bad, smells bad.
But it feels good.
It's so funny though, because like, I think about Jennifer, and I think like, like she's so healthy and fit and wholesome, and, that's how I wanted to be, and I wanted to have a
She's
person
not.
like that.
Except at the same time, she's not. You could, she's
Wholesome-
sick.
Wholesomeness comes.
Yeah, but Fluffy, that's not the criteria. The only criteria is does somebody boost you up or drag you down? It's the only criteria. They can be very healthy and drag you down.
Yeah, they can look good, but they're bad.
I'll tell you what Allison Burnett said to me. She said, don't ever go with an actress.
Mm.
He said that they never stop acting. Like this woman, like when you're out with her,
Yeah.
you're out in this under this romantic moon, and she's doing a love scene with you. Like that's what she does.
I know, I've often thought about that with Greg. Like, is he really telling me the truth, or is this just one thing he's very good at doing the right thing,
Right.
Well, that
Yes,
does,
right.
it does help you in life that if there's something, detrimental, you do the opposite. If there's something that's not working, you drop it and you do the opposite. That's how you get out of a dysfunction. So,
Well, there are beautiful toxic flowers too,
yeah, right.
and even poison ivy is a beautiful plant to look at, but it's toxic. It's okay to look at it though. You can look at Jennifer, but what you were doing was discharging your energy into Jennifer. See, that's the difference. You're discharging your energy into these people, and you come away with a very low charge.
But I feel like if I would learn how to not do that, like I can have some nice friends, if I would have handled it properly, I would have had,
Well, the way you learn to not do it or not is very difficult to get into. That's a whole. Why don't we try to do that on Tuesday when we have the class?
Yeah, with some people, no matter how great you are, I've got stuff into. I mean, sometimes you can't see it right away.
Well, hey, you know what? I wanted to tell you my wonderful discovery, and then I asked you that question, and now it turns out that you guys have really good insights into this issue, and so, like, maybe my discovery wasn't as earth-shaking as I thought it was, but you know what, Barb? Of all the people who were talking, you came the closest to saying this thing. Because what you said is you realized that Chris didn't want to cure what she said she wanted to cure, right? The key word is want.
Yeah.
They're switched. They want the wrong thing. If you look at Greg's Facebook wall, and you can see it, Greg wants the wrong thing.
Yeah.
So to whatever extent, Greg, you're suffering or sick, you can look to that as a cause. But it isn't because you're trying to be secretive or resisting, showing yourself or something. You actually just don't know what you're doing, which can be another very good reason why people are like they are. See, a lot of people, they're not really being secretive. They just are, like they have something else wrong with them. Like they're like not, they just don't care about it. They want something else. This is the commonality of all these people who don't cure things. They want something else. And they always, when you're talking to them, they always say, oh no, I want to cure. I desperately want to cure this. This is the only thing I want. Which, all that means is they're more switched than ever. The more, because remember we used to tell people to let go of wanting things?
Yeah. Yeah.
This is why. Because when somebody wants something, oh God, I just want to cure my herpes. They don't want it. When you know what we were doing? When we were telling people to let go of wanting things, we were unswitching them.
Right.
All of a sudden, what they really wanted came out, and it turned from an action to an activity, to put it that way. Like getting it became an activity, which is what it has to be.
Well, it's like me saying I want a relationship and all that is really probably true. Yes.
Well, saying it and unswitching yourself might help. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. But convincing yourself that you can never get it is another whole story.
Do you guys notice that Anik is not on this call?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, Anna never called me and said anything about not wanting to be on the cure team. The last I heard, she was going to be in these meetings and she was getting her camera set up. But she isn't here. So, Barb, what do you know about Anna?
She just said yes to things. That's like what Michael said. She's slightly flaky. I mean, you're not really that into it. She was into it, when she was. She had other priorities, I guess. She's irrelevant or something. If she doesn't,
So But saying the same thing, right? She wants something else. Right?
I guess so. She doesn't really know what she's trying to cure, and she
Huh?
didn't really, you're stepping in, probably like Michael. So.
Yeah, it seems like she just wanted to do something about the cafe, and then she did it, and that's it.
Sometimes I think it's like Michael, like they sort of want a particular relationship with me, and if they're not going to get it, then they go to.
Well, I think that's true. There's certain types of relationships that she wants. She wants something else. And so she'll keep looking for that,
Well, one thing that is for sure, she wants something from you, right?
It seems like she didn't, and she didn't get it exactly, so, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
She was dragging you down.
Oh, I see. There may be.
See, giving her the thing that she wants would interfere with you having a good life structure design.
Mm-hmm.
Well, like one thing she wanted was she wanted you to live in her house there and fix it up with her.
Yeah.
Except you don't own the house, she does.
Yeah, so then she's saying, okay, I'm going to sell it.
Yeah, then you get nothing again. You're back to, you get nothing.
You get to live there and be her friend while you work for her.
Uh-huh.
So many people do that, you know, and if you
Well, like Michael.
do it, then you want it.
Yeah, I guess be one of her many boyfriends.
What was?
And I would have gotten to be one of her, you know, like boyfriends, relationships, you know. I think she, you know, she just wanted a friend and a fun partner, and I didn't really, you know, I wasn't like that with her. But it's like Michael, they really want you to be close with them and have fun with them and be with them all day, you know, and stuff.
Yeah, for which he was willing to give you 3% of the apple cookie, right?
Yeah, I guess so, yeah.
Think about it. You saw through it all the whole time, Barb. You saw through it.
Marcy, you have an instinct. You like a very deep level, you know things, and if you like, really just relax and allow yourself just to be with, like, just be like you're nobody, you would really, somebody really comes out that somebody just knows everything, and you know things, and it's like you're nothing, and never mind, don't go on about that.
Dude, you know what's funny is like I'm so out of whack, and I have like my sex drive is like so gone. I was remembering back, like I think it was in high school or college. I guess college when I finally first actually felt like a sexual attraction to somebody. Maybe it was in New Haven, and I remember saying to myself, "Wow, like I should never ever be around anybody unless like I want to be with them because like everything else is like a waste of time." Really broke that rule a lot, you know. It's like,
Yeah.
Well,
I'm not having fun a lot.
as I used to say with Nat and Dylan, you can't have sex with everybody. That's why you have dinner parties. We made that a t-shirt. We were making a.
Yeah, but you can sort of be turned on. Like that's
Yeah.
what
What we're saying, like they bring you up,
fuck all your friends.
either they bring you up and you create something together, or they're bringing you down, or they want something from you.
Okay, look.
Yeah.
Wait a minute now. Okay, we're going to stop our meeting in just a few minutes, and I think we really have, like, there's a lot of understanding here. This is really good. It's a fertile place for me to, you know, tell you the rest of this stuff. Because what we're talking about is statistical realities. Now think of it in terms of ignition, okay? How hot does a Michael or a Anna have to get to ignite? So
Yeah.
nothing that we ever did with Michael or Anna ever got them close to an ignition level. Statistically speaking, we were not able to deliver in those environments. It's exactly like adopting a cat. That adopting a cat like Scott or Anna or anybody, it's a certain amount of work. And if you have I have a big yard here, so it's less work. I have a patio to feed the cat on, so it's less work. Okay? If I had a New York apartment, it would be a lot more work. So, and also, you can have more of them. So don't get scared. I'm not going to adopt another half a dozen cats, Greg, or something, okay? Don't get the wrong idea. But what I'm saying is that if I wanted to, I could bring home 2 or 3 more cats if they got along. There's plenty of room for all of them here. You know?
Sure.
Not true. It's not true in a small apartment. So what you're trying to do is create a statistical reality. Like, see, that's what a cafe is. The reason I'm so interested in the cafe is because of the statistics that it generates. It's
Hold on just a second. Barb is off. Well, you can keep talking, but she's not on.
I can keep talking.
Okay.
The statistic, for example, you can get Barb back while I'm talking. The statistic is that, I can have 20 people in a cafe. they can all be curing things, either with each other or with one of the serving people or with me. I can have 50 people there. And also, people like Scott can come in whenever they want. So statistically, for Scott, it's easier. It's all about statistics. You know, like, Barb?
Yeah.
Yeah, I called on this, so.
I hear wind or something.
Don't be Barb.
I,
It is.
Barb, are you outside? What is that noise? Stop. Stop the noise.
I called her on the phone if her Skype was failing. Are you there, Barb?
Yes.
Okay.
No static.
All right. So statistically speaking, if there's only a 2-hour window when Scott can talk to me, he's probably going to be like not in the mood. But if he can come any time, or if there's like some hours every day, 7 days a week when he can drop in, it's a lot more likely that if he isn't in the mood today, on Thursday or Friday, he will be. And the same for Michael. Like, Michael wouldn't expect as much if you have a cafe with programs, with, you know, he comes in and he's not going to say, hey, let's do something at my house. He's going to realize you do this. It's here in the cafe, and he can come in and he can volunteer if he wants for 3 hours a week, and he can come teach people how to cure things. You know, be behind the counter. Maybe that appeals to him. You know, or if it doesn't, you could just tell him, look, you know, you could get a lot of practice doing that, and then you could do it at your house with people. You know, so it's statistically, it tips the balance. That's what I'm looking for. And you know, Barb, what you were saying about how brick and mortar businesses are passé last night. Everybody wants to do things on the web.
Yeah.
Well, actually, brick and mortar businesses are opening all the time, and they're not passé at all. And nobody is ever going to expect to eat dinner on the web. Okay? So you got to have a restaurant for that. I predict a bright future for the restaurant business.
Absolutely. Well, brick and mortar places have their online presence, or else people don't find them as easily.
That's right.
And
Now, more statistics. Think about this. Like, we had a lot of people who came and assisted. And who brought all those people to come assist in Philadelphia? As far as I know, it was only Barb. No? Yes? So see, that's another the statistic to pay attention to. Like, Barb is the person, you know, we may have to manage the assistant when the assistant comes. Like, Barb got Kenny to assist in the move. But Barb didn't manage Kenny, right, Greg? I mean, you managed him pretty much, didn't you?
Yeah, I'm sure Barb managed a certain way, but it was the team. But I managed the actual logistics and what to do and all that. Yeah.
Yeah, you were managing Barb and Kenny.
When he was coming to help and that sort of thing. Yeah.
That's right. So, so what Barb does is Barb is like a catalyst. Like, we have to be the actual chemicals in the reaction, but then you need Barb to make the thing ignite. It's about ignition. Barb is like your ignition personified. Like, you're an ignition person.
That would have so totally changed Michael's life if he would have come to your house.
Yes, you know, it probably would. You know, like if we were living in Sarasota, you could call Michael and say, you got to get down here. You know, it's $900 a month to stay here or for any part thereof. So if you stay for 2 weeks, it's $900. Why don't you come down for, you know, as long as you want, up to a month. Spend $900 and come be with us. You know, and we'll feed you, and you'll have a beautiful place to live, and you'll work your ass off, and you'll learn tons. You know, and then you can say yes, no to that proposition. We had a lot of people who said yes, and you know, I put on Facebook like that bench. Joe McPherson built that bench, and we're still using it. Like, we're still benefiting from, well, I mean, all those shelves in the garage, John Meade gave us those shelves. That's where we got them.
That's not precisely true, but that's all right.
What is precisely true?
I remember us purchasing
Some of them came from
a
there.
large amount of those. He kind of started the ball rolling maybe, but we bought a hell of a lot of those shelves.
Oh, some of those are ones you bought.
Yeah.
Oh,
For a
God,
lot
yeah.
of things we
When we
got,
were in Philly, they measured everything and they bought all new shelves, but,
all the,
Oh, okay.
you know,
Okay.
but there were
Well, I never knew that. Okay, so thanks. I'm actually,
that point is well taken,
I find that interesting.
Oh,
Thank
it
you.
may have come from the archive
Okay,
building.
yeah, but like the wood and the,
I think I can even tell the difference between the ones we bought and the ones he gave us.
Well, the ones we bought were putty and gray colored, and the older ones were, like, the ones in the archive building were green
Yeah.
and, or black or some other colors, you know.
Right.
I took them out of there.
But,
Anyway, all right, so, I'll tell you something else about ignition, okay?
okay.
While we're on the subject of ignition. If you could get, like, let's say we have a cafe and a house for somebody to stay in, and the person comes and they can only stay for a week, okay? Now, imagine, like, trying to ignite somebody, like you were talking to Scott or Michael, and, you know, basically what we've been trying to do is ignite them. And when we're doing this, and Barb was saying, well, how many people have ever registered from that outline? And that made me really think, like, how many people did? And one of the things I came back to was that a few people did, because once I gave Anna the things to say, Anna was the Grass Valley Anna. You know, the outline started with Grass Valley Anna. Okay? Greg, you know who Grass Valley Anna is, right?
They call her Polk Sally Anna, but that's, yeah.
And, you know, right? And that the outline started with her because she was telling me what she said to people, and it didn't work. And we never heard from them, so I said, okay, no, say this. And that was where the outline started. I wrote down the things I said to her, and that was the first draft of the outline. And I gave that to her, and she started using it. And she got somebody to sign up. That woman, Linda, signed up from that.
So did,
Right,
so did,
Ferreira.
so did Chris and some other person signed up and went on, you know, got a password. There are people who've gotten a password because of the outline.
Okay, so, all right. So, but let's go back to Scott. And let's say the other night, you could hear us with him trying to ignite Scott, right? And did Scott ignite? I don't think so. Like, how did it feel to do that stuff with him? It felt like being in the rain, in the pouring rain, rubbing two sticks together, trying to make a fire, didn't it?
I noticed
Yeah.
when I read the prayer after he left, the next prayer I read was different. I was different. That I was reacting to him being there in some ways, you know.
That's a symptom of a low withhold index. You were discharging your energy into them. Okay, now, what I'm saying here, anyway, just so you know, is that were somebody to come spend, let's say, a week and live with us and, you know, assist at the cafe, that would be like throwing a log into a fire. Well, you know how, like, it's pretty impossible to start a fire with a log, right? You ever try to do that?
Yes.
Right. Only
And we all know
if
you can't start a fire with,
Right.
what, Greg?
Right. Only if you hit it with a blowtorch or a furnace.
I realize, yeah, you can't start a fire with a log. You got to start a fire with a bunch of kindling, which then makes hot embers in the bottom of the fireplace, which keeps heating the log as the log burns, and so on. And that's how you start a fire with a log on fire. You put the log into a fire, and this is what we need to do. In other words, what we're trying to do is build a fire. Like we need a fireplace, and we need grating, and we need a thing on the bottom to hold the logs off the floor of the fireplace. We need all this stuff, and when we have that, then we stick our newspapers and our kindling and we light it, and then we can burn logs in the fire. But we're not going to be burning many. Now, there are some logs that are very, very dry and very, very porous, and they will actually burn. You can just, kind of light a match under them and they'll start burning. There are some that do that.
So the Cure Cafe, the fire is always burning.
That's right. The fire is always burning, and that's a good slogan for it. Of course, it would make people think that we're saying that it's hell.
Well, it'd be like Berkey Parker when she called the fire department. During one of her parties, she called the fire department. They came racing up the elevator with their hoses and everything, and they say, "Where's the fire?" And she put her hand to her breast, and she went, "Right here." She wanted a little excitement at her party.
Well, I'll tell you something, but maybe that's, like people used to come to me and say I had to talk to my brother and all that crap. And I was racking my brains. I said, no, you're doing a great job of talking to him. So I was racking my brains, like always, for the thing to say that would, make it urgent. Like, see, I always look at it as making it urgent. And, so I finally found the thing and I said it to him and he went over and he registered, and I didn't have to talk to him or anything. And it's the same thing when Donna Mayone asked me, like, why should I sign up for the relationships course? And I said, well, I always get my man. And she said, oh, give me that.
That's right. That's right. Well, our courses were fires that we put people in.
Yeah.
All of our courses were fires, but we still had to know how to run them and what to do. And, if you have a Cure Cafe, it has to be run exactly right.
So, can I just say something, and you may not agree with me, because I don't know if, Barbara's bringing up the thing about the opening movie. Maybe the problem with it, there's no problem with it, it just doesn't ignite any fires.
The opening movie?
Yeah.
Oh, the opening movie does ignite fires if somebody's flammable. Like, people have told me that they've watched it 3 times.
Oh.
And it's 4.5 hours long.
Okay. Well, I just questioned.
There are certain people who, you see, the reason it's so long is because it has to go into long-term memory. And that's why you need a cafe. It's the same reason. Because when somebody comes into a cafe, unless they're picking up a takeout, they're going to be there for a while. And they have some time. Like when they walk in and they're standing at the counter, if they're going to eat it there, they've planned on spending half an hour there, 20 minutes. So you can say, want to try curing something, and they just go, yeah, sure, because like I'm here and I can drink my coffee and eat my stuff here, right here, and I'll try it. Why not? Something to do while I'm doing this.
Okay.
And that especially works if you have chairs by the counter where they can sit down at the counter.
Okay. But, like, people like Tony Robbins obviously ignited the fire without having a cafe. So.
Tony Robbins went on TV. That's how he ignites his fire. He always did. And once his things got big enough, then people would send other people, and he still kept going on.
Well, that's
He has always believed in TV. also went on vacation. So that's what he does, okay? He ignites the fires with television. That television is the best way to do it. It
Okay.
probably just costs more than we can afford.
Yeah, he had agents to find him places to get on television too, to be in the movie.
Yeah, right, exactly. That's
But the thing he did, when people had courses, they didn't say, I'm going to go to the Tony Robbins course. They said, I did the fire walk.
you're right.
I did the fire walk thing. So all it was a gimmick to get people there and do something.
That's all
Physical while they talk.
heard about him. I didn't hear about
Yeah, I didn't hear about.
He made himself famous, which is how he gets people. So,
Yeah.
okay, it's time to stop.
Okay.
I feel as though we have created, I love the level of understanding I see in all of you. It's really, I hope it continues. You know, I hope when the next time I talk to you, you understand as much as you understood today. That would be very nice.
You mean on Tuesday that we don't sit around with our mouth all hanging open?
Well, it's nice. I'm really glad to hear, you know, like we all seem to know what we're, you know, about. And intuitively, you guys are coming up with the same things that I do.
Yeah.
Well, I like
You
it.
know, you're just saying these things intuitively.
You gave us actual image that helps create what we're talking about the fire, kindling the fire, or, you know, that you walk into a place that's already on fire. And
Well, you know,
whole thing.
you have to remember, somebody like Anna is lovable. She's a wonderful person. She is one of us. She is telepathically connected to all of us, and she has very, very good intentions. But we simply have not been able to provide the level of heat that she needs. It's that simple.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing that we always had in the center and in our courses. That's why we had so many courses. There was heat all the time. And anytime you saw somebody on the street or at a party, they were a Nexus person or whatever, direct centering.
Absolutely right.
And like Barb knows, when we went to parties, you know, after she came with assisting and all that, people would say, "Oh, there's the people, you know, look at all the energy and look who they are." So, and that's what's been hard to do online or just on a telephone call once a week, or when you're
Like
calling.
try impossible.
Yeah.
You know, there are some people who relate to it and they sign up and talk to us and all the rest, but for the most part, statistically speaking, most people are at a very, very low level of energy themselves.
That was the point of having a fake confront card. You wanted to create the confront so there was something ignited in them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, love
Okay,
you.
love you, and I'm on the 144th dimension.
Okay.
Good.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thanks, Ross.
Thanks, Ross.
Have a nice weekend.
Okay, you
Thank
too.
you, Ross. You
I
too.
will.
Thank you very much.
Have a perfect.
But I will. Big kiss to the new cat, to the kitty, Bayard.
What?
I think Ross will have to be her godmother.
I shall.